Greeting, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in this world. Courage. Let me ask you this question. What your life would have looked like if you took that decision or had that mental leap or that step 3 or 5 years ago? What your life would have looked like right now? The only person stopping you from being courageous and brave is you. It takes courage to take that decision. It takes courage to take that mental leap. It takes courage to take that step. And you will ask me, Nasruddin, it's easily said than done. Well, I agree. But if you decide that no matter what, I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do, you will develop courage. You will develop courage by walking by faith, not sight. By developing and seeking knowledge and self-developing constantly, because knowledge is power. When you have knowledge, you are fearless. The reason you see things as big as monstrous as they are is because you don't have knowledge about them. So seeking knowledge, self-development constantly. By challenging your mental and physical being and taking them out of their comfort zone. Also, by embracing pain and suffering. Pain and suffering are part of life. For me, I call them now, because they become so regular, I call them business as usual. If nobody has told you, I break the news to you. Life is full of pain and suffering. So just accept it and move along with it. It exists. That's part of life, part of the process, and part especially when you're following your dreams. How do you feel if I tell you that that day that you didn't turn up for that interview thinking that you're not good enough, they were looking for somebody exactly like you and you didn't show up? How do you feel if I tell you that when you didn't show up for that business event, that networking event, your breakthrough was that day, the person to connect with that will change your life was that day, but you didn't show up? That cast, that audition, that talk that you were invited to and you thought you were not good enough, you didn't show up. They were looking exactly for somebody like you. Why you didn't show up? Because of fear, as described by our mentor Les Brown. False evidence appearing real. It takes courage to show up. It took courage for me to move into London with 80 pence in my pocket, which is $1. I walked by faith, not sight. But I come from violence and wars, so walking into a different country with less money was not as challenging as for somebody who hasn't seen wars. But it took courage. It took courage also for me to study evening classes, doing my master's, and work full-time. It took courage for me to pick myself up after I lost my job, lost all my money, I lost all my savings, and nearly become homeless. It took courage for me to pick myself up. It took courage for me to write my book. Never wrote a book before, but it took courage. I made that decision. I made it. It took courage for me to join the coaching program by Les Brown and to speak in virtual events and it's taking courage for me to show up today and speak to you after 10 days of food poisoning. I felt awful lately. I was really ill, but I decided to show up today. And also, not only this, I just lost my job again. It took courage for me to come here because I want you to understand that it's courage who will take you to the next level. I'm showing up today to show you what courage means. So, be courageous because you are. Be brave because you are. And your life will be in a better place. Your dreams will be in a better position if you had that courage, if you made that decision, that mental leap. That decision has to be done now. Be courageous. What's the worst that's gonna happen? Be courageous and brave and watch what's gonna happen. Your life gonna be in an amazing place. I promise you. Take that decision, take that leap, and take it now. Thank you for watching and listening, and see you on the other side.